Joining me now is a man not known for sitting on the fence. He passionately opposed the invasion of Iraq, and now he feels that Hezbollah is justified in attacking Israel. The Respect MP for Bethnal Green is in our central London studio. A very good evening, good morning rather, to you, Mr. Galloway. How do you justify your support for Hezbollah and its leader, Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah?
A preposterous way to introduce an item, and what a preposterous first question. 24 years ago, on the day my daughter was born, and I've just celebrated her 24th birthday, I had to dash to the maternity hospital to see her given birth from a mass demonstration in London against the Israeli invasion and occupation of Lebanon. Israel has been invading and occupying Lebanon all of my 24-year-old daughter's life. The Hezbollah are a part of the Lebanese national resistance who are trying to drive, having successfully driven most Israelis from their land in 2000, Israel from the rest of their land, and to get back those thousands of Lebanese prisoners who were kidnapped by Israel under the terms of their illegal occupation of Lebanon. It's Israel that's invading Lebanon. It's Israel that's attacking Lebanon, not Lebanon that's attacking Israel. You've just been carrying a report of 10 Israeli soldiers on the border getting ready to invade Lebanon, and you ask us to mourn that operation as if it were some kind of war crime. Israel is invading Lebanon and has killed 30 times more Lebanese civilians than have died in Israel. So it's you who should be justifying the evident bias which is written on every line on your face and is in every nuance of your voice and is loaded in every question that you ask.
Right. You put your finger on the button, though, didn't you, when you said that Hezbollah was set up back in the 1980s in order to remove every Israeli soldier from Lebanese soil. As you said, it achieved that in 2000.
No, it didn't.
This is a setback.
No, it didn't. It didn't. This is a key point that you're concealing from your viewers. Israel was forced out of most of the south of Lebanon in 2000. It still occupies a part of Lebanon since 2000.
The Shebaa Farms area, which is subject to this latest UN draft resolution.
Thousands of Lebanese prisoners have been kidnapped by Israel. Hezbollah
I spoke just a moment ago to the Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesman who said that the 3 Lebanese who have been captured, perhaps you'd like to use that word, have been before a judge and been through a court of law.
Oh, please, have a slightly longer memory than 4 weeks. I'm talking about the thousands of prisoners taken during the 18 years of Israeli occupation, illegal occupation of South Lebanon. These are the prisoners that have to be released in exchange for the Israeli soldiers that were captured at the beginning of this wave of the crisis.
Can I ask you about a report that's in today's Sunday Telegraph, which showed that Iran has given Hezbollah long-range missiles capable of targeting any part of Israel. Iran, according to this Iranian MP who helped found Hezbollah, has also said that Iran has given the authorization to target Tel Aviv. Can you blame Israel for wanting to destroy those missiles?
This is preposterous. America has given Israel missiles that can target not just every city in Lebanon, but every city in the Arab and Muslim world, including Iran. Why should America be allowed to give long-range missiles to Israel, including hundreds of nuclear missiles, but Iran is not allowed to give missiles?
Because it's given it to a terrorist organization.
But they're not a terrorist organization. Only in the mind of Rupert Murdock's Sky and the Times and the Sun and the News of the World.
I'm going to stop you there, Mr. Galloway. Prescribed terrorist organizations. One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. We know that perfectly well. In most people's eyes, they are deemed to be. They had a choice, didn't they? Let's understand this. They had a choice, like the IRA, to take on politics.
Listen, Anna.
I'm saying they had a choice to absorb the idea of politics. They've got 2 Hezbollah cabinet ministers.
Anna, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. You are totally wrong in saying that in most people's eyes, Hezbollah are terrorists. In most people's eyes, Israel is a terrorist state. It's the fact that you cannot comprehend that fact that leads to the bias which runs through all of your reporting and every question that you've asked me in this interview. Let's go to Chris in Dagenham, a first-time caller. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, hiya, George. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
And you.
I've got a topic very dear to your heart. A few weeks ago, a particular radio station, which claims to be a Christian radio station, had a week-long series of dispatches from Israel celebrating the 60th anniversary of Israel's independence. They regularly have advertisements about Israeli tourism and business. There's not a single word in any of their programs the whole week long about the sufferings of the Palestinian people. I think it's very unfair and very unchristian. It's totally one-sided coverage. I think this particular radio station, I'm a Christian by the way, this particular radio station should be investigated by the radio authorities. What do you think, George?
Well, I think that's a very important issue that you raise. Nothing makes me more angry than the silence of the mainstream Christian leadership about the suffering of Christians in the Holy Land, in the very town where Jesus of Nazareth was born, in the very city where Jesus of Nazareth was cruelly executed by the occupiers of Palestine. There's not a cheep from the top church people who are never done pontificating on other things about the plight of the holy places and the Christians within them. And worse, as you've just identified, the evangelical Christians, like the radio station to which you refer, like the huge, massive, 65 million strong evangelical Christian lobby in the United States, are the biggest supporters of the crimes of Zionism in the Holy Land. They don't know or care that the Church of the Nativity, the place where Jesus was born, was on fire 4 years ago, set on fire by the shell fire of the Israeli occupation army. Priests and nuns lay dead, unburied in the crypt of the Church of the Nativity, and not a single one of these so-called Christians did anything about it. Can you imagine the uproar there would be in the Muslim world if such a thing was happening in the mosque in Mecca or in the Al-Aqsa mosque in Jerusalem? My goodness, the earth would be shaking. And yet it happened without a single Christian leader doing anything about it. And with Christian politicians, so-called, like Bush and Blair, who wear their Christianity on their sleeve, not only having nothing to say about it, but actually supporting and arming and funding the people who are oppressing the Palestinian Christians under occupation. In Bethlehem, in Beit Sahor, in Jerusalem, in Gaza, all over the West Bank, there are Christians and Muslims living under illegal military occupation, and you've got a Christian radio station celebrating the 60th anniversary of all of that. Chris in Dagenham, I'm real grateful for your call. It's the legendary Carl in Plasto after this.
That there are many governments responsible for this great crime in Palestine, but the dictatorship of Hosni Mubarak is jointly responsible for the murder of every Palestinian who has died these last 2 years. When he was embracing Livni as the bombs were falling, when he locked the border at Rafah, he became an international criminal and an outlaw of the Arab world. So I call, in conclusion, on the great people of Egypt, on the heroic armed forces of Egypt, on the heroic army of Egypt of 1973, to rise up and sweep away this tyrant Mubarak, to rise up and to demolish the border at Rafah and let the people go free. Wassalamu alaikum. Peace be on all of you.